This is Pastor David's Daily Bread Guide message. This chapter, 2 Kings, chapter 18, titled as Hezekiah's Religious Reformation and Judah's Crisis. Hezekiah's Religious Reformation and Judah's Crisis. The chapter can be divided into 3, verse 1 to 8. Hezekiah's Religious Reformation. Hezekiah's Religious Reformation. Verse 9 to 12. The reason for the fall of northern Israel. The reason for the fall of northern Israel. Verse 13 to 37. Sennacherib threatens Israel. Sennacherib threatens Israel. The Bible evaluates King Hezekiah as like King David. He removed the high places, and also he removed the snake that was made by Moses, as he considered it as an idol. The Bible says there is no one else like David except Hezekiah in the history of Israel. But if we look at his background, his dad is King Ahaz, who is the wickedest king of the history. So we know that the environment, the circumstances you are in is important, but what's more important is your own decision, it's your own life. As Hezekiah decided to reform the country, his background didn't affect him. Let's read verse 3 to 4. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father David had done. He removed the high places, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. He broke into pieces the bronze snake Moses has made. Throughout the time the Israelites had been burning incense to it, it was called Nehushtan. So he did his best to reform his country, removed high places, then smashed the Asherah poles, and also he broke the bronze snake Moses has made, because at the time people worshipped before it. So he had his lifestyle that revering God, and because of this, verse 7, the Lord was with him. He was successful in whatever he undertook. He rebelled against the king of Assyria and did not serve him. The country Assyria kept attacking the nation, but in his time, God made him successful, even to the point that he did not serve Assyria. In verse 8, from watchtower to fortified city, he defeated the Philistines as far as Gaza and its territory. He even defeated the Philistines. And God made his time prosper because he revered God and he removed the high places which could not be done by any other kings of the history. We can move to the next section, verse 9 to 12. This is the 4th year of Hezekiah. The Israel got fallen, which is northern Israel. In verse 12, it says, this happened because they had not obeyed the Lord their God, but had violated his covenant, all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded. They neither listened to the command nor carried them out. Because the northern Israel disobeyed God, they got fallen, they got destroyed. This is positive to the times of Hezekiah, who obeyed God and who got prosperous. if we leave God, then we'll see the sufferings. However, even though we revere God, even though we follow the word of God, we may have sufferings and pains. We have trials in life. However, in our daily life, if we keep reading the word of God, if we keep praying God, if we keep the core values, then in the times of trial, in the times of suffering, that we can open our eyes of faith, then we can use our life to break through all the sufferings and trials. So my message here is that we have to be prepared in our daily life by keeping core values, which will equip us to break through in our times of suffering and trials. To move to the third section, verse 13 to 37, why Hezekiah had to suffer. To read verse 13. In the 14th year of King Hezekiah's reign, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, attacked all the fortified cities of Judah and captured them. In verse 15 to 16, so Hezekiah gave him all the silver that was found in the temple of the Lord and the treasuries of the royal place. And continued in 16, at this time Hezekiah, king of Judah, stripped off the gold with which he had covered the doors and doors posts of the temple of the Lord and gave it to the king of Assyria. So because of this attack, he had to give all the gold from the temple of the Lord to the king. And verse 21, it evaluates him, says, "Look, I know you are depending on Egypt, the splintered reed of a staff which pierces the hand of anyone who leans on it." So even people knew that Hezekiah depended on Egypt as he was attacked by Assyria. So when the sufferings come, the devil ones try to scare us, and they try to make us follow their instructions rather than depending on God. And because of this fear, we tend to follow the word of the evil ones. And it's very easy for us to depend on someone else, not God, like Hezekiah depended on Egypt. However, Hezekiah repented of his sins, and he once again came back to God to give his repentance. And God, the love of God, reverted the situation, so Hezekiah got the victory in the war. So to wrap up today's message, first we have to revere God in our daily life. So this lifestyle will help us, equip us to break through in times of crisis and suffering. So even in the times of suffering, even in the times that you have to make decisions quickly, first we have to look at God first. The second key message here is in the times of suffering, we have to come to the Lord and pray. Prayer is the way God is working. Prayer is the tool that God is working to make things happen. The prayer will bring the victory. So I bless you to have the day with the Word of God.